my relationship with painting is up close to it. I rarely stand back from a painting in the studio. So most of the time I'm focusing on little bits of the painting and not paying so much attention to the whole. I got asked to do an exhibition in the gallery in Bangkok, H Project Space, where the show was initially, about a year and a half ago, and the space there is structured where the walls have a framework within it, a wooden framework, and so it kind of naturally for me lent itself to inserting things within that framework. And the day after I got asked, I went to the Royal Palace in Bangkok, which has these amazing Thai mural paintings that go on for hundreds of meters. So you can never experience the whole of it. You have to walk through it and see it in little parts. And so that idea of and then I kind of took lots and lots and lots of photographs of these bits of it. So they're all detailed. So this kind of idea of taking contemporary artist paintings and inserting them into this framework of the gallery just lent itself kind of with all of those things kind of all mixed up together.
When you were looking for artists to put in this exhibition, how did you already have most of them in mind? Did you have to go out and look for some? How did it work?
So the artists in the show, I wanted there to be diversity more than anything. So I wanted there to be a range of different styles of approaches to painting, of kind of stages of career, of difference in abstraction representation. I wanted there to be a wide mix. And in terms of approaching people, I drew up a long list of artists that everybody was a painter that I really liked. But within that, there was people that I knew, there was people that I cheekily asked that I never thought would say yes, and some people said yes and some people said no, or some people didn't get back to me. And then some people I knew very well, but it was more about finding painters that I liked and admired. So each of the paintings in the show, the artist selected which painting it would be, what their definition of the detail would be. I had no kind of say in the work at all that they put in, and in some ways I'm more interested in the painters than the works, and it was selecting artists that I believed in and then giving them the choice of the work.
So how did you come to choosing, for instance, Clem Crosby in the exhibition?
What I really like about him is there was this shift. He was very heavily involved with the monochrome, and then he shifted. So I saw his work a few years ago, and it had this kind of complete kind of turnaround from when I'd seen it as a student, and that really excites me. I like artists or particularly painters, but artists in general, that go through shifts like that don't just stay with a way of working, but that move about. So yeah, I really wanted him to be in it, but again, it's because I like his work more than anything. And then I saw his work maybe about 3 or 4 years ago in a National Trust property called Cork Abbey in Derbyshire, and it was shown in stables, and I really like that idea of alternative places for seeing artwork. So that really kind of hit me and lodged in my brain that was a painter that I really liked, and kind of felt a kind of, I guess, not an affinity with, but somebody that I should look at more closely. And I've also got one of his drawings up in the house, so he's constantly there in a way.
Fireman Spider-Man is the title came first, and my son he's only 3 years old, and we were playing, I think, with Lego, and I was asking what he'd like to be when he was older, and he said a fireman, and then he said no, Spider-Man, and I like the playfulness in that, and my next painting I wanted to title Fireman Spider-Man. So that's how the title came around. It came around just by listening to somebody who happened to be my son at that stage. And so, the title came first, and I made the painting and put the two together. It's not like the painting is a narrative on a fireman or a Spider-Man, but I like using titles to somehow puncture the reverence of painting and the sort of high altar of painting. So that's one thing. So I like the playfulness, and I like the idea of of a viewer or the audience trying to bridge the gap between the title and the painting. So it's a way into the painting, although the narrative isn't immediate or obvious or even relevant, except it is the title of the painting. And the painting is oil on Formica, and I thought it would be a good one to put in Andrew's show because it was already in the gallery, and the gallery had a reproduction of it, and it was easy to do. They could take a detail of it, which I left up to the gallery, and I wouldn't have to do any work. So it was expedience, really. So it should be called Expedience Fireman Spider-Man. I don't know what else to say about it.
But in the context, because the exhibition is about detail,
Yeah.
when you go and look at it, kind of what new meaning does it have? Does it have any new meaning for you when you see it against all these other paintings?
Well, it's certainly in a different context, because although the details of all the artists' work the details themselves are different scale, they've all been reproduced the same size. So it's kind of like tiles on a wall. So we've all been flattened out, made regular, and homogenized in that way. Is that the right word? Don't know. And so when I look at the reproduction, it just looks part of a bigger work. I'm not excited by it, but I'm not disappointed either. It's just what it is. It's a tile, a square, a regular square of a detail blown up, put next to somebody else's detail. And I don't know if it makes a new piece of work. Probably in Andrew's mind it does. I think he's become the author, really. Well, and that's the thing about Andrew's show, it's about authorship as well. He never really talked about that, but he's appropriated our work and made another piece of work, whether he agrees or not. That's what he's done. So my painting is part of his work now, or at least a detail of my painting is, and that's important. We must keep referring to it as a detail and a reproduction, because it isn't the painting. But it's now Andrew's work, it's somebody else's work.